It is a comedy of errors throughout the season. I've said it in November. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong for Milan. That's how I would sum up this season. And today is one more example. Before the match, there were all the rumors. Conceição, if he loses this game, he could be out.
But I don't think it was fun for them. It was a crazy finish.
So Lazio went boom in the San Siro, not bust, right?
Nigel,
what was it
I'm going to shake your hand. You were absolutely right. You're the only person who said Lazio would do it.
Thank you.
You got scared at the end, but you were absolutely right.
Fantastic performance by Lazio. They should have put that game to bed long and early before it got to that situation. Yep. The one disappointing thing for Lazio is, even with that man advantage, they didn't show enough control. They didn't show that they took control of the game. They gave Milan life. Milan did come back into it. But then again, Lazio will go and get the penalty in a period of just comical errors that had us all laughing.
It's got Grella's clown music behind it.
If this is Serie A. Crazy. But for me, this is a massive punch to the face to Milan. And again, like you said, I like that you saw the end of scenes there, the game there. Reflection of two dressing rooms. You look at Lazio and how all they're together with the manager, celebrating with the players, what it means. And you look at Milan, bunch of individuals, no one there. Substitutions were made where players looked like they didn't even want to acknowledge the manager.
Christian Pulisic came off. He looked frustrated, didn't he?
He didn't look at Conceição.
He didn't look at him. He didn't want to acknowledge
Shook his hand
him.
like this.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on at Milan, and it's not great right now. And this result now, I would say, is put a nail in the coffin for Milan making top four.
3 losses in a row. Fonseca never had 2 losses in a row. That's how bad it's been for Milan, and they didn't have any answers today. Lazio beat them in every facet of the game. I thought they were fantastic. And then also, we said before the game, Pavlovic starting to look okay. Pavlovic, red card. Gets the angle wrong. Nasty late challenge, right? Gets a red card. And then Magnan, we're talking about a one-season MVP, one season. Now it's too many mistakes for me now.
I just don't know why Milan start to wake up so late in the game as well. There were many opportunities for them to get back into the match, and it feels like that sense of urgency, something was lacking. I thought in the second half they were going to come out firing, like we've seen them do a lot of times after the first half, but they didn't. They were rather lucky, in my opinion, to get back into the 1-1, and you said it rightfully so. It would not have done justice to the game. It is a comedy of errors throughout the season. I've said it in November. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong for Milan. That's how I would sum up this season. And today is one more example. Before the match, there were all the rumors. Conceição, if he loses this game, he could be out.
Do you think he will be out? Because you all sat here and said, no, we think it'll be the end of this season.
It's the way that they're losing the games.
I would say,
the way that they're losing is not acceptable.
I understand that. It's not acceptable. It's AC Milan, the club, the pressure comes with no problem. But when you look at the situation right now of what we've seen so much for the entirety of the season, whether it's Conceição or the previous manager, it's the same situation. So for me, what are you going to get? Who are you going to get to come in now at this point of the season that's going to have an immediate impact, that's going to try and get them to compete? I feel there's too many other teams they're competing against already. When we saw today's fixtures, I said, I don't see Milan getting the win today against Lazio. I see Lazio winning. That's what's happened. They're competing too many other teams to be able to make that top four. Who do you get in now to come into this environment with a dressing room that's not together, that's fragmented in different sections and fractions, to turn it around with the pressure of being Milan manager? You've made your bed, laying it till the end of the season.
Well,
that's all you can do now.
Because now they've had 2 rebuilds, haven't they? Yes, the rebuild in the summer wasn't under Conceição, but now they've had this big winter transfer window where they've brought in all these players, they've spent a lot of money, and the reality is this was the last time they had a bad finish, 10th place, mid-table, which is obviously unacceptable for Milan in the last 25 years. 10th is the lowest. They're currently 9th in the table. They are on track for one of the worst seasons we have ever seen.
How is Roma ahead of them? How is Roma, for the whole season, all we did was talk about Roma and talk about the quality in Milan side and how bad Roma are. And now the whole script has been flipped on us, and we see Milan sitting in 9th place.
Roma
Even
is ahead
with
of
the bad season, they shouldn't be in 9th.
It's not that complicated to say. Roma's ahead of them because Roma's a team. When you look at Roma play, they play as a team. You tell me the best performance you've witnessed from AC Milan this season that they've played and looked like a team. Take away the Real Madrid.
Well, they beat Real Madrid.
Take away the Real Madrid game. The Real Madrid game is probably the best I've seen them. Other than that, I still don't see a team.
Nigel, when I was there in Saudi Arabia and they lifted the Super Cup, that was a team that was so united. Everyone was hugging and kissing each other, and they were so happy. And maybe that's just the honeymoon phase of getting that new manager bounce. But it's just so sad to see the team, because of the quality that's within this squad. It's not acceptable to be seeing them put in these performances. Nobody could be happy. The fans protested at the beginning of the match. They booed them at halftime, and we still didn't get the result that we need to see for a club like Milan. And you're right. I don't know where they go from here.
One thing I'll always say about this, and you know it as well, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. They can be as talented as they want that Milan side, but they do not work hard and compete to the level that Lazio did. Even though Lazio gave them opportunities to come back into this game, there's no way we can say, and we watched that game to say, AC Milan players worked as hard as the Lazio players did.
Where do they go from here, Grella? Because they've got a tough run as well in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, the next two, Lecce and Como, but after that, it gets tough again for them.
Yeah, and the difficult part is that they're not on the same page, and they're not playing for each other, and they're not a team. And now they had Pioli. It was not working, or supposed to be to them. Now Pioli looks like a genius, by the way. They had Fonseca. Right. The players didn't buy in. They have Conceição. The players kind of half bought in. And so how do you get, if you're Conceição, you have the hardest job in the world now. The locker room doesn't trust you anymore, doesn't believe in you anymore. The players are not buying in. I think from the top to the bottom, it's just everything's a little bit disjointed. But I also want to say for Lazio, you're 8 points now behind Inter. I don't think they have the depth in the team. They have probably going to have a deep run in Europe. But they're 8 points with 10 games left, 11 games left. They're 8 points behind Inter. I mean, what an accomplishment that is. And Tavares, drug test him right now. He should be in there getting drug tested right now.
He was like a Trojan horse today. He just didn't
I haven't seen a player like that in Italy, maybe ever. I mean, we've been covering it the last 4 years. I've watched it my whole life, but the last 4 years, I haven't seen a player that can run at that capacity, that power, and that doesn't always have the final. Doesn't always have the final product.
Do you know what it reminds me of though? The great Inter fullback.
Zanetti. Il trattore, the tractor.
That's what I'm saying. There's a comparison to that he reminds me of. We haven't seen him so
I don't know if Zanetti was as quick, but my God, this guy is a bullet train, man.
Up and down.
Grella is absolutely right. We have to give Lazio their flowers. I counted them out because I said without Tati Castellanos, they look sometimes with the lack of ideas. They came here and with a fire in their eyes. They had this desire, a dream of Champions League football, which none of us expected them to get into a Champions League spot at the beginning of the season. Marco Baroni has found solutions. He's dealt with problems. He's made this team a lot better than the one that Sarri had.
What a weekend it's been. Just in terms of the Scudetto race now, Juventus might be back in it. Lazio obviously not
most exciting league in Europe.
It was a draw. Yeah, 4 winners in 4 seasons now.